Look good to you?
Yeah, it looks great. Now, should I answer the questions to the camera lens or to you?
I would say if you could just really point this way so it
Oh,
won't
all
get too
right.
awkward.
Yeah.
And really, I might just touch on a few topics, but you feel free to take it wherever you want to take it.
Oh, wow. Already recording. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Muziq HEADz Radio, welcome back. We got a very, very special guest in the house today. Man, tell the people who you are.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Kyle Grooms. Been a comedian for almost 3 decades. You may know me, Kyle, the nigga with the glasses. You can't be tough with a name like Kyle. You know me from, Comedy Central, BET, Def Comedy Jam. Yeah, a lot of stuff, TV commercials.
And everything that's within that, Comic View, Chappelle show.
Yeah.
Like, we got to get specific, man.
Inside Amy Schumer, Dave Chappelle show. I was on a show called Straight Plan for the Gay Man. I was one of the straight men, though. And what else? Yeah, I had a Super Bowl commercials. Yeah, I've had a good run. I've been doing okay,
3 decades?
What's that?
3 decades.
For 3 decades.
So,
Well, professionally, I've been doing it for 2 decades. Yeah, I went full-time as a comedian in 2000. But I started in like 94, 95.
can you tell us about that?
Oh, starting?
Yeah.
I started comedy like as a hobby. I didn't think it was something, because I had a good job. I had a career. Like, I was an art director. I had, 401k. They was contributing to it. I had a house. I had everything, man. But then, I tried comedy as a hobby. And my 3rd time on stage, I just said, ooh, I could do this, and I fell in love with it, So I switched arts. I switched arts from graphic art to comedy art, really. Or verbal art. What is comedy? Is it it's a verbal art.
I don't know. I think it's like therapy, personally.
Oh, yeah, that too.
If you in the crowd, somebody call you out, be like, damn, is he calling me out? That's how I feel sometimes.
Oh, okay.
Like, damn.
So comedy is like therapy? Yeah, I guess comedy could be. It is like therapy. I guess I get to tell the truth. I get a pass to say things that are really on my mind and tell stories and, express real feelings.
And what's your favorite part? Is it being on stage, or is it just seeing what they give you back?
Yeah, my favorite part of it is like being on stage. Like it's an out of body experience every time when it's going well. When it's bombing, you all by yourself. You could feel every inch of that bomb. Yeah. The bombing part ain't good, but when you ripping, when you levitate. I feel like I'm levitating when I'm on stage.
So you got a show coming up this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
They're probably gonna touch it. You at Atlanta Uptown?
Yeah, I'm at Uptown Comedy Club. Tonight I don't know when this airs, but tonight is July 28th. I got 2 shows at Uptown Comedy Corner. I haven't been to Uptown since it was in, I think, College Park. Was it Buckhead?
Yeah.
Yeah, it used to be in Buckhead, and I did it then during the Laugh-A-Palooza Festival. But I actually haven't been to Atlanta performing much comedy here,
That was probably, I think, before the pandemic.
Oh, way before the pandemic.
So, what did you do? What do comedians do in the pandemic? Like, you can't go nowhere, you can't talk to anybody, you can't shake hands, they can't breathe in your face. What did you do?
Yeah, what I did in the pandemic. Actually, I lived in Miami at the time, so the pandemic kind of was a bump in the road for me. It was almost non-existent because, we were up and running by June, and the shutdown was in March, so I was doing shows by June, and then by September, I was really out there running. I was performing a lot for Trump supporters though too, because I showed up at a Trump it wasn't a Trump rally, but it damn near should have been, because it was all conservatives, and it was a dude that owned the place, and I showed up with a mask on, and they made me take my shit off. You know? And I was thinking about that. We used to switch mics during the pandemic. Like, if there was a comedy show, like, we couldn't share the mics. Now we back to spitting on the mics and smelling hot breath on the mic. Yeah.
Damn. Well, let me ask you this: with everything that's going on with Trump, and looking back, do you think he was better, or do you think he was? You think he was good for the country, or do you think he was really a problem like they said he was?
I don't know if Trump is good or bad for the country, but I know a lot of the people that support him are not good or bad for the country. You know what I mean? It's like, I could almost rock with Trump, but when you see the people that fuck with Trump, you be like, I don't want them to get a win. You know what I mean? Because they got the wrong idea, the wrong attitude. So that ideology I can't really fuck with, you know. Because I don't like a lot of the shit the Democrats do. Both sides, they're both, you know. I don't like either one, really. I don't commit too much to any of those things.
Robert F. Kennedy, he seems to be kind of getting involved. I don't know if you've been seeing lately.
Yeah, I've been seeing Robert F. Kennedy when he speaks. Yeah, he's telling it about the vaccinations, and
he telling it. Well, I don't know what if it's conspiracies or not, but he's telling his side of the story.
I'm a little nervous because the curse is still out there. Like there's like at least 5 documentaries on the Kennedy curse right now. I'm like, bro, I don't know if you want to have these conversations.
Oh yeah, right.
Before you become president.
Yeah, right. Yeah, the Kennedys, they die like flies, man. But yeah, the Kennedy don't have a really good history. But I will say, is Ted Kennedy still alive?
I can't tell you.
No. Oh, okay. Ted Kennedy, I guess he killed someone, so I guess he's still, the Chappaquiddick thing, But is he still alive? I gotta Google that.
It's a lot, man, in the world of politics, and I think overall it's just hard to trust anybody. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what side you trust, but like you said,
I'm with Ice Cube.
That's rare.
That's
rare. It seems like everybody's against Ice Cube right now. Yeah. But why would you say that you support that?
Just because I like what he did when he approached Trump. It's like, okay, what's your plan? And you should ask the Democrats the same thing. I don't like the fact that we just automatically give the Democrats our vote. Do you get what I mean? You want them to work for it or see what they're gonna do for it. You don't just want to be in pocket. That sounds crazy to me.
Now, I hear you incorporate a lot of politics, a lot of, like, I'm not gonna say racism, but at least the acknowledgement of different people in your comedy. How often are you actually involved with, like, the everyday person's need and the general need of America?
Like really, my comedy, I don't talk too much about politics, because I just think it's a lot of opinion shit, and it's like everybody's screaming politics, so I don't really know what is best. But what I try to do in my comedy is just things that I'm thinking. If it's social commentary, I do like to have a little stream of consciousness. That's what we used to call it. Like, if I was a rapper, I would be like the Daisy Age, and when like Public Enemy, that's kind of where my comedy stems from. That energy to if I'm gonna be an artist, I want to be able to say something and be able to have a message instead of just hey, fucking bitches and pussy, boop, 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 just nonsense. I want to be able to enlighten a little bit, show a little bit of what I'm thinking, cleverly disguised through the jokes. I don't like to be in your face like, hey, because then you're preaching. But if I could hide a message, I'll hide it, but make you laugh with it too.
If there was, I guess, a perfect person or maybe a perfect candidate, what would some of those ingredients be? Just for people to get trust.
A black female. Um, the perfect candidate. I thought Barack was pretty close. I just didn't like what he did with Gaddafi. That was under his watch. Yeah, that Barack co-signed on that, and that I didn't. That part I didn't like. See, that's the stuff that, because you got to take that kind of shit with the other part. Like, okay, we'll do this for here, but we also gonna do this bullshit too. So, who can you trust? I don't know.
Now, if you was president, what would be some things that you might, do?
If I were president, first of all, if I were president, I would not do what DeSantis is doing. I would teach real history. I would talk about the Wilmington insurrection, because to me, that's one of the most important things that happened racially in this country, more than Black Wall Street. Because Black Wall Street kind of was the last of the race riots that took black wealth and stuff away. But Wilmington insurrection, do you know about the Wilmington insurrection?
Not really.
Wilmington insurrection, I like telling this story. 1898, the Fusionist Party and the Democrats, they elected a dually, political party with, it was the Fusionists, and then it was Republicans. The Republicans were different back then, but it was basically the workers and the aristocrats or whatever, the people who own shit. And they elected a multicultural cabinet and everything, but then the white supremacists who lost the war said, nah, we can't have that. So they dusted off their Gatling guns, came out one night and just took the town. Killed everybody, chased the black people into the Cape Fear River, burned down the black newspaper, took over the fire station, just took the town. And then they wrote up a white Declaration of Independence saying white supremacy forever, and the guy who led it all was a guy named Hugh McCrae, which until recently, they still have roads in Wilmington called Hugh McCrae this, Hugh McCrae that, Hugh McCrae this. And he was the guy who wrote up a white Declaration of Independence. And then the government, the U.S. government was supposed to respond. It was the only coup d'etat in American history, the only overthrow of the government that ever took place in history on American soil. And the government was supposed to respond, but they did nothing. They just said, you got that. So then after that, all the other towns started to fall. Atlanta, Halifax, Louisiana, Rosewood. It's like for the next 20 years, and then about 1920 when Black Wall Street got to it, it was like, this was like the last one. They took all black wealth, And then you think about it, the biggest thing that come out of Wilmington is maybe that Michael Jordan went to school there, But had they not done that, we probably could have owned a franchise, could have had established some kind of base wealth, But it was all taken, and now we gotta go beg them for jobs. We can't make money unless they get money too. Like hip hop, the music industry, it's like, how do we eat and have a foundation? But they kind of have the gate. We're the gatekeepers. And then it looks like we ain't do shit. Like I've seen tweets, when are black people ever gonna get their shit together?
And what do you say to that? Like when you hear something like,
I just look at it and be like, because the education system, they're not teaching none of that. So it looks like they let us in slavery and we just start rapping and acting foolish and being coons and, didn't try to progress. But after slavery, they elected so many black politicians, black senators, but now, after it's only like one or two now, Now it seems rare and it seems like something we're not even interested in. Do you get what I'm saying?
What was I'm not trying to make this strictly political, but like what's the guy that was down in Florida that had a bit of a scandal, the meth in the hotel.
Oh yeah, the Gillis,
Andrew.
Yeah, Andrew. Yeah, I do a joke like that because I say people are mad at me for because of Florida's governor. Like they call me complaining about DeSantis, but I tell them DeSantis is not my governor because I voted for the guy they found naked in a hotel room with an overdose homosexual. That's my guy. Do you know what I mean?
It seemed like even that whole situation, it was kind of like swept under the rug.
Yeah.
The timing was crazy, and it sounded like something that comes like straight out of like a show. Like
like come on, like a mob movie or something, like a setup, sprinkle some crack on them. Yeah.
Damn. Any do you think there's any redemption? You know, when somebody goes through something that public.
I've seen him trying to make a comeback and try to speak on certain issues, but I don't think it's hard to listen to a guy. All you thinking about is what was you doing naked in that hotel room? You know what I mean?
It's real. It's real. Now, you mentioned Miami.
Yeah.
Are you currently like in Miami right now?
Yeah, I live in Miami, man, because I was in New York on the New York scene for so long, and then I felt like I graduated high school and was still hanging around the high school. You know what I mean? And then I felt I'm recognizable enough and I'm established enough, so I moved my family to Florida, to South Florida. Now we live in Miami and raising my kids.
Any hurricane worries? You know,
Nah.
they engineering hurricanes and all types of stuff now. No worries at all?
Nah, not at all, man. And I live on the beach, so, but if I just get a hotel somewhere else, if a hurricane come, and then when it pass, I go back to my place,
Gotcha. So you were in New York, in Miami, like where you from? Like, what are the roots?
I'm from Jersey, born and raised in Jersey. I was Elizabeth, New Jersey. Then I went to Linden and Perth Amboy, graduated Perth Amboy High School. And, then I moved to Florida for college, Art Institute of Fort Lauderdale. And, that's why now I'm even my dialect, I don't even know what dialect I speak now, just because my first dialect was Southern. Then I grew up in Jersey. Then Then I went to school to get a job. And, hold on, I think it's my wife is calling me. She must be something important. I'm sorry. Is this edited or do you edit this? Shit.
We prefer not to edit. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay.
It's a little lazy. That's part of the reason why.
All
Just
right.
put it in there and just let it do.
Yeah, I'm sorry. My wife was calling me on my phone and she keeps calling me.
That's important.
Yeah.
When mine start calling, doing the same thing, something going on. They don't call you unless they just want to just interrupt my whole day. So we might have to edit this out. But no. So from New Jersey, went to school in Florida, started working, and then you just kind of mentioned comedy was just a hobby. Like, were you with somebody and just said, "Man, let's get on stage"? You just take a dare. Like, what was the actual thing that got you?
No, I have always been a fan of comedy, even in high school, junior high, and I was always the dude that snapping, cracking on people. You get up. I went to my whole high school. I just went to crack on people, just in the morning. What shoes you wearing? What hat? Matter of fact, I had everybody, by the end of the year, everybody was cracking on everybody. You know what I mean? And I was voted most humorous in high school, most humorous in junior high. But then I went to college, and even in college, I was the kind of clowny, kind of, snapping on you. But I always was a fan of comedy, and I never thought I could do it on stage, like Eddie Murphy, Richard Pryor. It felt like they came from outer space. But then I saw Def Comedy Jam, and it was more like regular people from around the way doing comedy. I'm like, oh, I'm that kind of funny, you know what I mean? And I said, I'll do it as a hobby. And then the third time on stage, I was like, ooh, I could really do this. It's like the bug bit me, and I've been doing it ever since, you know?
Left the rat race to really jump full speed into comedy.
Yeah, and comedy, and I thought when I got into comedy that, you get into comedy, you get a few specials, you get on a TV show or sitcom or something, and then the internet hit, and the whole shit changed. It's like I felt a lot of comedians fell off the skateboard. You know what I mean? Because I wasn't into Twitter. You know what I mean? Because I used to be a graffiti artist back in the day, so if I had to tweet, I had to climb on a bridge or something. You know what I mean? Not like you kids sitting behind your computers and your cell phone. If I had a message to get out, I had to, risk death, really, in the cold New Jersey winters just to spray paint on something.
And then like a charge too, like.
Oh yeah, and I got chased by the cops plenty of times. Never got caught.
Okay, so with the internet, there was Def Comedy Jam is like cemented as like gold.
Mm-hmm.
How many people have come out of there, been successful, done their own things, including yourself? What was the process like to get on the Def Comedy stage?
Process to get on Def Comedy Jam stage, you had to impress Bob Sumner, and you had to perform at a place in New Jersey, East Orange, New Jersey, called the Peppermint Lounge. The Peppermint Lounge was the club that you had to go to. It was like the audition club, And even before I was doing comedy, I used to go to the Peppermint Lounge, and I used to see how they would treat people who they didn't like at the Peppermint Lounge. I'd be like, "Nah, I can't. I don't know." So by the time it was time for me to perform at the Peppermint, I was ready. I was like, "You ain't gonna get me, motherfuckers." You know what I mean? I think I was telling jokes before I got to the stage, And then, once I got on, I only had been doing comedy 2 years once I got on Def Jam. That's actually nothing to be on Def Jam in the middle. That's a big
I see what you're saying.
2 years of comedy. It took 3 years for me to learn to hold a mic. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I'm a rookie. That's still green.
Damn. And so, was it from Def Comedy Jam that the other opportunities started pouring in, or like?
Yeah, when you were a young comic, when you in your 20s and you new on the scene, and I went to New York and got passed at a lot of the New York clubs, yeah, things just start coming for you. You think it's gonna be easy, like, oh, things are going well, and then one day things start to slow up, or the weather change, or something shift, and you're like, oh, I'm out here. Do you know what I mean? I'm out in the deep end.
You was in Comic View, I was doing shows in Canada?
Yeah, there was a time I've done shows in China. I've done tours in China, Singapore, England. I used to go to England every year. Amsterdam, Pakistan, Dubai, Seychelles. I've done a lot of comedy around the world, But, but then things... it's a roller coaster. You think it's going to last forever. You getting the money and this, that, and the third, but then you just kind of have to keep reinventing yourself, keep writing jokes, I got to stay abreast of what's going on, and I just want to be a grumpy old man, but I can't.
Who would you say that you got your style from? Because, I mean, if you were cracking jokes on people before, that probably came from somebody. Maybe you knew.
I think Richard Pryor and my Aunt Sarah. You know what I mean? My aunts, my uncles, even my mother's really funny. She got that, that wit, that black auntie wit. You know what I mean? Because one of my aunts was the funniest person I've ever seen without even trying. They just funny, and they talk just the way they, boy, you better tell that. You be like, wow. I say stop. No, he better stop, goddamn, because it's that, that energy. That I guess that's where my comedy comes from.
And then probably like as you started working, did you kind of just take bits and pieces, or you just said this is my style and I'm gonna just craft my style?
If I Chris Rock, I grew up. Chris Rock in the 90s for me was like that dude, like just the way he wrote, the commentary he spit, And when I became a New York comic, I'd be doing my shows around town, and then we'd come to the Comedy Cellar, and Chris Rock would be on stage, and I'd be like, I suck. Like you think you big, and then you'd be like, I suck again. Damn. I was feeling good about myself until I saw the work he's doing. You're like, then you got to keep working,
Now, eventually, you end up getting on the Chappelle show.
Yeah.
How did that opportunity come about?
Chappelle show. Actually, it was Neil Brennan who got me on the Chappelle show. Dave's partner. Like, I had worked with Dave before, but I I saw Neil at the Boston Comedy Club, is in New York City. It was like a small club that we used to work out in. And Neil was performing comedy, and I didn't know. I thought he was just a young comedian just trying to be a comedian. And I was encouraged. I said, yo, man, you real funny, man. You need to keep it up. Keep doing your thing. You write really well. And he was like, I'm the co-producer of the Chappelle Show, co-owner of the Chappelle Show. Would you like to come in for an audition? And I was like, oh, yeah, I'll do it. He was like, we going to have you play a gay dude. I was like, oh, wait now. Now, I don't want to be the gay dude. I was like, nah, I'm good. He was like, nah, Dave's going to do it too. And, you know, you're going to be, I was like, okay, I'll be in a group of gay dudes, you know what I mean? But I ain't going to be the gay, right? But then when I got to the set, Dave wasn't doing it. It was just me and Greer Barnes, and we went in our dressing room, and our wardrobe was some Poom Poom shorts and Vaseline and some boxing gloves. And we were the gay boxers, me and Greer Barnes.
That episode.
Yeah, Friday night sissy fights. It was, I get stopped on the street sometimes. Hey, you Ricky Blazer, you the tyrannical teabagger, right? Yeah. I was like, yo, my man, chill. Yo, chill, man.
That scene in the barbershop, I every time I die, just laughing like, hey, man, shut the fuck up. Like,
hey, yo, shut the fuck up. Yeah. Had the Black and Mild in my hand. That was my idea, right? Yeah.
So, do you do skits? You know, like, are you ever involved in like maybe skit writing or anything like that?
Yeah, I used to do a lot of sketches when I was younger, like, you know, but now I'm a 50-something-year-old man with 2 kids. And like, you know, there's a fine line between silly and like, all right, like being silly on a sketch now is, I kind of have to be an actor now, like, you know what I mean? But all that cooning, it ain't gonna play right for me, you know, it's just gonna seem desperate. But I have been working on projects, you know, other projects that I could develop. Like I have a series called Why Did I Pull the Trigger? It's where I go and I interview people who decided to use a gun to, you know, in a situation. Not necessarily shot someone, but at someone, or just pulled a gun and fired it, and just to see what they were thinking. Like, because, you know, everybody's getting shot, and you like, what the fuck? What would make you shoot at another human being? Like, did you snap? Were you emotional? Did they hurt your feelings? You know, I know in self-defense, you know, we can shoot anybody, but what the fuck were you thinking? Like, and I interview people in different situations. You know?
So far, what's the answer? What's the general synopsis?
The first episode we had, it was a guy. He used to be a pop locker back in the day, and he went to a house party that was jumping, and they started dancing. You know what I mean? And then he bumped one of the guys who was jealous, like hating off to the side of the corner, and the whole party jumped him, like jumped my man. Him and his boy, the dancers, they beat him, stomped him, kicked him with heel, for dancing. And then they ran to the car, and he pulled out the gun, pop, pop, and just started firing at the crowd. He wasn't aiming, but, you know, he was a kid at the time. And, he was just firing randomly in the crowd, in the air or some shit. But he said his reason was for revenge. Like, he wanted revenge. Like, if it was one person, he could take a one-on-one ass whooping, but everybody in the party stomping him out. He was like, nah, y'all gonna know that y'all ain't the one to fuck with. You know. Yeah, so.
So, where does a show like that come from? Because I've never heard, like I've known there's 1,000 ways to die and stuff like that, but what made that show come about?
No, because I think about that gun violence. Because I'm a guy who I don't have a gun, I don't own a gun, you know, and I be thinking, do I need one, you know? And I hear a lot of people try to encourage me to get one, and plus the gun laws that Florida's passing. And then every day you hear about people getting shot. It's like, again, people shooting, like, and you think black people, we know is bad for us, but you keep hearing niggas getting shot. And it's not just black people, but, you know, especially for when I hear one of us shooting one of us, I'm like, I never been in a situation where I wanted to kill a brother in my life. You get what I mean? Like, and I hope I would never have to. And that some people seem to just do it. I don't know. I guess everyone has a reason. Everyone has a reason. That breaking point. I'm not saying I can't see, emotions and,
Got jumped by 10 niggas for dancing?
Yeah.
Yeah, come on, bro. You gonna know me. You gotta know me.
He said you jumped by 10 niggas for dancing. Yeah, you got. Word.
Well, the gun laws have changed, especially down here in the South. It's almost like anybody.
Yeah, Florida, you don't have to have a permit, nothing to conceal carry. So that means I could be out at a restaurant anywhere just chilling with my pistol, which is all right. Well, it's kind of too, because I notice a lot of states that have those laws, there's less break-ins. Like in Alaska, people ain't breaking into your house because they know everybody in the house got guns. Even the kids will shoot the shit out of you in Alaska. You know what I mean? If I lived in a proper house, I live in a condo now with security and all that. Only thing I would worry about is being at a gas station or something and people run up. But sometimes who do you gonna get in a gun battle? It's like you even have to know how to use it to maneuver anyway. So I don't know. But I do love those videos where people come to rob somebody and end up getting shot. Oh, I love them. Yeah, those are my favorite videos on the internet.
That's satisfying.
Yeah.
Like
somebody abuses somebody, then pop, 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 psych. Yeah.
This is one where like the dude, he runs in the house and he got his old lady, he got his daughter, and they do crap right behind and he just turns right back. And I don't know if they put the GTA music in there, that Mission Pass music. I was like, man, they need to really make this a show because overall, I don't think America will ever get rid of guns.
Yeah.
But we talk about it all the time here. If more people had guns, you would think of.
Yeah, you watch your mouth, watch your tone when you talk to people. You know what I mean? Be more diplomatic in your actions. Yeah.
Damn. So maybe guns is a solution.
But the people are crazy now. The mental health. Every day you hear people getting shot that shouldn't be. You know what I mean? It was rare when I was a kid, I think. Especially mass shootings. Like, you're just getting used to it now. It's like,
ain't nothing really, safe. Going to school, eating food sometimes. Like, you damned anyway.
Yeah. Like, I go to places, if I'm in a crowd, I look for escape routes. Like, I'd be like, if somebody run up in this Chuck E. Cheese, I'm going to get out. Like.
Park backwards.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just to get on out of there. It's crazy. But do you ever see it ever just calming down? Like, what would it take for the world to kind of get that reset where everybody gets their shit kind of back?
I think the next generations have to come and like the trend has to be, because I think now with like the hate being, the pendulum have to swing back and we have to have a peaceful generation, a love, I don't know. I see my kids age. Well, kids always get along together, but it's like we got to stop. We have to change that program. Like, it has to be uncool to do certain things, at a point. Because I think, I'm just speaking for the hip-hop culture, it's gotten so negative for so long that I think now that will become kind of corny and passe. Like, you'll look dumb talking about shoot a nigga, you know what I mean? With all the stuff that's happening and, then it'll be corny. Like my daughter don't like some of the beats I listen to. She'd be like, I'm not into those beats. You know what I mean?
What do you listen to, if you don't mind me asking? Because it seems like you can't escape that. Niggas my op.
Yeah, it depends. If I'm working out in the gym, yeah. Don't get me wrong. I like killer nigga music. You know what I mean? I used to love Cool G Rap when he first used to spit. I blow your main brain, make it brain. That type of shit. And I think he's one of the ones that influenced a lot of these the gangster rap shit. And I love it because it's like a lyrical version of a Clint Eastwood movie or some shit. You know what I mean? An action film. But niggas started taking this shit literally. Like I see people who wouldn't have been a thug if it wasn't for the music culture. You get what I'm saying? Like if they had not made it cool. I'm like, nigga, I've seen niggas go from Cub Scouts to killers. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, and they tried to warn us, like C. Dolores Tucker, and I remember there was a few pastors and all them had a big, like, we can't let, sex, all that on the radio constantly. And, I remember I was a teenager going, man, damn, them old people. But then I didn't know niggas was going to really say that's how they have to be. You get what I mean? It wasn't going to become keeping it real. And now you have to have a body if you say you shot somebody on the radio, on the record. Like,
I don't know if you the guy that just came out with that song, and Mama, don't worry, raised a gangster. I'm a survivor. Like he just was charged with murder for killing his barber.
Oh wow!
And it's crazy because he was just starting to blow, just starting to get on the radio, but it's like, you blowing up on national syndicated radio, but you still got these local issues going on.
Yeah.
And sometimes, at least from my perspective, I don't feel like it's. I know it's within the culture, but I think it's being pushed from outside of our culture. They talk all the time about the prison industrial complex, and hip hop was engineered to really put more people down in that system. I don't know who was saying it the other day, but the guy was just saying it went from them having black people behind bars, then having the white outline of chalk, then seeing people just visually on the ground not moving, and now everything is so explicit, like nothing, like desensitized to everything.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I feel like there are people who want to see the opposite of that, and I'm gonna just point out his name, Charleston White. Has been like the big boogeyman in that. Are you familiar with Charleston White?
Yeah, I know Charleston White.
Okay. What do you have any takes on him?
He be saying a lot of shit that makes sense, Someday he goes overboard with his, some of his antics and the things he says, but sometimes he be right on the, he be talking the truth. I could agree with some of the stuff he's saying. And my thing is like, I know history, I know black history, I know the history of what we've done, we had to go through in this country. And to live undignified to me is a slap in the face to, just the ancestors. They fought so hard not for us to be all this clown shit that we be doing. You know what I mean? Like people talk about each generation was, because we had Freaknik and all that other stuff, but that wasn't life. You get what I'm saying? It's like you go to Freaknik, but then you was in dental school or you was here. You get what I'm saying? Like I remember being an art director, but then going out at night and wilding because you had to have a personal responsibilities and you had to take care, and it wasn't about, you look for a partner not for just finance, but just for it was just different, Two people get together and just build something, but now is an expectation. You got to be this, you got to be that, and
there's some wild expectations out there.
Yeah,
like being single is hard as hell right now because if you're not spending $200, $300 on the first date, you a broke nigga.
Yeah, and I remember girls we used to go and drink a 40 ounce, smoke a little something, and then go on a. And go in the club and have a great time. And but now you got to buy bottles and this, that, and the third. But a 40 ounce and a blunt will set the night off and you have a perfect date. That would have been it. And y'all both share the same brown paper bag and be drinking it, leaning on the wall.
Well, let me ask you this. What's at this point, at this stage in life, what's some cool shit?
Cool shit?
Yeah.
For me, it's just family, man. I'm with my daughters, and I'm amazed. Sometimes I look at my daughters like this. Wow. I think I'm too in love with them. I think
you created your own people. You created your own people.
Yeah, my own people, man. And I'm also afraid for them too, because you know how sometimes your daughters will look at you with a naiveness, a naivete or whatever, and you be like, oh man, the world is good. You know what I mean?
I got a niece.
She can't have Like, she's so innocent. And I'm like, the world, there's wolves out here. You know what I mean?
It's aliens out here.
Yeah.
It's all that out here.
Demons and goddamn, it's all kinds of shit out here.
Shifters and reptilians.
You reptilian.
On the planes, like, yeah, I don't know. I'm sorry to even veer off on this, but just the report that came out the other day where they basically said they found the bodies of a pilot of a craft and it wasn't human.
Oh, human, yeah.
That is so wild. They just we just gonna throw that out there.
Yeah.
They've been here.
Yeah, I wonder if they're gearing us up for some, but it definitely seemed like a lot more
Sightings,
that type of shit. Yeah.
China's making new suns out there.
Oh yeah. But why would they? But it's something that they would come that far and then crash at the end, you know. And also, I think if they have the intelligence to come here, they would probably treat us like that Europeans did when they came to America. You know, you guys don't have the technology. Y'all behind. Y'all fucking up the land. Y'all do this. We gonna take this shit. You know what I mean?
Maybe that's where it came from the first time. Like, I think about stuff like that all the time. Like, you had to get that from somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Something just doesn't exist, and you just, like, I don't care how creative you are, there's some influence from somewhere.
Yeah.
You know, like, even if you, like, look at, like, the walls and all the stuff they etch in the walls and from this deep
The hieroglyphics and all.
Yeah, like, they be having astronaut suits and spaceships, and
Yeah.
I'm like, this shit may have really been here before, and we just might be like the third edition. You know, like, this shit may have happened a few times, and we just uncovering something that's been here. Like, aliens been chilling.
And think we
knew.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. But I do. I don't want to say because I've never seen an alien. But I just don't feel. I feel like this world is the universe is too small for us to be the only ones to be the smartest ones.
Yeah.
And I do feel like.
Yeah, like, what kind of phenomenon to just have this little green planet floating in a vast of nothingness? Now, like, how do you get that perfect condition? Just like that blow. Even me talking to you right now, if I think too deep, I'm gonna be like, what? Am I really here
with
right
water?
Now?
You know, with a breathable atmosphere.
Yeah.
You know, and then other people too.
Yeah.
You know, other species and all types of shit. But
yeah, and the shit we do, it's like a waste of time. A lot of it, like, it's just a beautiful ass planet. Do you know what I mean? It should be the age of Aquarius. You know. You know.
Well, back to the cool shit. You know. Family, definitely for sure. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think that's something that's. I don't think that's ever gonna leave because eventually, once you kind of run through, you get burnt out. You kind of realize what's left there. What's important is that family thing. After family, what else is some cool shit to you?
Family, traveling with family. I love traveling. You know, that's really cool to me. Meeting people. It's cool, yeah. And I don't know if you do charities. I don't know what the fuck's cool, but helping people too, you know. I like to help people if I could help them, you know.
Absolutely.
And being creative, man. If just creating something from nothing. For me, it's cool if I have an idea and then you put all the pieces together and you actually see it. And it's like, oh, wow, I just created something from nothing. I'm like God. You know, just from your imagination. That will always be cool to me.
Absolutely.
That you could think something and then put the pieces together and actually make it happen.
In this time of just trying not to waste time.
Yeah.
Well, what's a new skill that maybe you picked up recently? It ain't gotta be this year, last year. It could just be recently. Some shit ain't even perfect yet.
Oh yeah, new skill that I picked up. I think just handling the internet, like social media, because I didn't want to rush into social media, and because a lot of people look desperate. Hey guys, I'm here, and you know, whoop whoop whoop, and trying to create content that wasn't working, and I just ran at my pace. I would post family stuff so people see my lifestyle, but I didn't force it too much, you know. And then when I have something, and I've been able to build slowly, like people kind of are aware of who I am and my personality just from not posting so much desperately, but gradually posting and finding different elements and things like that. Different parts of my life that I want people to see. Because for me, it still has to be art, and I still have to be creating it for a creative purpose and not just like I'm thirsty for attention type purpose.
Now, does that mean like you getting busier, like having to like commit to like, all right, I gotta put 1 post up, 2 posts up this week?
Yeah. I have done that, and aside from the weight of, because I take care of my kids with my wife, but we both do equal. Like I'm cooking, I'm doing, you know, especially I'm home so much from comedy, so I'm very involved father. But then I have to still do this part that I love, and I have to be as intent with this as I am with that. So I have a schedule for this stuff, and somewhere I have to put this. I have to do this within this other responsibility I have. This is what I have to do, and this is what I choose to and have to do in order to keep my shit together. Like, you know, I'll be writing jokes with my kids in the background screaming, or editing, or doing something, or, you know, with my kids, Daddy, I'm kind of, okay, I'll get you some ice cream. Then I have to go back to it. And then I get them involved too, so they understand the creative process. Because I do Photoshop, I do flies, I do After Effects, graphics, and it made me feel good that the other day my daughter saw me creating something for my show, like a flying logo, and then she saw it on YouTube. She was like, Daddy, you did that right there. It's on TV already. You know what I mean? So it's like, so now she knows, that's you can do that too. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, the TV is, because, you know, when I grew up, I thought TV was magic.
Me too.
Wow, these people are from aliens from space. They're, you know, but it's just skills and somebody, you know, taking their time and just doing it.
What are some things? Because I feel like in this world, a lot of people feel like they have to juggle a few things just to maintain, or just to like kind of get by. What are some things that you do for yourself to so you know you're not burning yourself out, or you're not burning the candle at both ends? How do you manage your mental, the daily demands, the social demands?
Yeah, I just, you cut things, you, like the way your lifestyle goes, I don't have the desire to do certain things anymore, like partying, hanging out. Like, I live right up the street from Live, but I think I've only been there once. And I didn't even have the desire to go anymore, you know? So, especially now, once you pass 50, you kind of cut the fat out of your life. So now I get to focus on these things that I know I have to do. And then the rest, you know, I like to travel with my kids. I like to go to parks and do stuff like that. You know, does that answer that question?
Perfectly.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. There's no right answer, no wrong answer.
Yeah.
This is the answer. I saw somewhere that you eat plant based.
Oh yeah,
Does that aid to, you know, I guess maybe?
I think it's why I still got a 6-pack and I'm 54. But no, you know, and I didn't even do it for no spiritual reason or because I saw a documentary and none of that shit. Or even for health. I was eating barbecue one day after I was craving it, and I was in Cincinnati, Ohio, and I had the barbecue and I was eating it, and I could see the muscles and the tendons in the bone, and I'm like, I'm eating a dead animal carcass right now. Like, I feel like a beast, like, ugh. And I'm like, I don't know who killed it, how long it's been dead, where they stored it, if they shot it up with any kind of chemicals or nothing. I was just like, pfft. Then I said, I'll just eat seafood. But then even seafood was the same thing. It was life. I'm eating a living organism. You know, I just felt like, blah. And then I learned to cook plant-based. I had a brother-in-law who, he's like a master chef in plant-based. Like, he learned with one of the best. He had one of the best schools. He learned with Matthew Kenny, who's one of the best plant-based in the country, whatever, culinary chefs. And so he taught me some simple things and shit. Now I fuck some broccoli up. You know what I mean? Some vegetables. I whip jackfruit. And yeah, I love it. I love eating is fun to me. I enjoy to eat, you know? And it's like anything else. Like I go on the road, I travel, and it's like if you into weed, you'll find some weed. If you into coke, you'll find coke. If you into plant-based, you find it. Even late night, I'll find stuff somewhere when I'm on the road. It's just a good lentil soup or something, you know? Yeah.
Now, you mentioned the health, like you didn't do this for any.
No, I didn't do it for
outside-
health at all. But I have stayed healthy for my adult life, just regular exercise. Just because I feel if I don't, your body gets heavy. You know what I mean? Your chest start feeling heavy. It's hard to get up. You know, I don't want that shit. You know, and then you traveling, you performing. I need my body to be healthy. And plus, I had a brain surgery in 2019, so even more of a reason. And I actually think my diet and exercise is why the brain surgery didn't affect me as much. Once it healed so fast, I didn't even get a headache.
What can you explain like what happened? What may have caused that? Like I've heard you talk about it in the specials before.
Yeah, I had it was called a cavernoma. It's like a group of cells that form a tumor, and they could be in your brain. They could be in my brain right now, you know. But the problem was one erupted, and it started bleeding, and it was in my left frontal lobe. So once it started bleeding, I had a seizure, and I was at a vegan restaurant when I had the seizure too, and it was funny. And then they rushed me to the hospital and found out my brain was bleeding, and I had no idea what happened. Matter of fact, a few days before it happened, I was in the kitchen cooking for my kids, and my hand started to shake. And I'm like, that's weird. Like, feel like early Parkinson's. And I just shook it off like, oh, I must be moving too fast, you know? But then once I sat down to have the seizure, and then that was the beginning of the seizure. Like, I started to uncontrollably just shake, and I got up and someone grabbed me and my wife was screaming. It was crazy. But I before the paramedics came, I kind of centered myself and was able to get up and walk to the gurney and get in the ambulance.
Today, like you seem to be like just fine. You didn't miss a beat. Sharp as a tack.
You know, I got a line right here. I don't know if you can see it, but it's right here. It was a line right here, but.
Do you take any precautions now? Did you double down on maybe the health stuff or just certain foods since then?
Nah, I just try to live healthy, try not to bump my head, and keep writing and exercising my brain, because your brain can get atrophy. You know, like you have to especially I have to keep writing. You know, I have to kind of keep exercising your brain.
Now, I think you just had a recent special that just came out.
Brain Humor was the last one I did. Yeah, Brain Humor was just kind of, it documented what I went through with the surgery. It told the story, and I told, you know, and I did that maybe almost 9 months after I got out of the hospital. So I wish I could do it again, because now those jokes are so perfect and tight now. So, but I did the special, so I'm happy I at least got it done, you know.
Can we expect something else soon? I know we got While I Pull the Trigger.
Yeah, While I Pull the Trigger, and I want to release another special this year. I may do it on as an album first, you know, and then, you know, because before I did Brain Humor, I already had a special that I wanted to shoot in the can. So now I might just go start to work on that again, you know, because it's a lot of the old material that I don't do anymore. And I want to, you know, you sell your old material, and then you go and you write new material, and then you sell the other one, and you keep going, you know.
That's
So.
a lot of keep
Yeah,
going.
man, it's a lot of keep going. And I was at a club last night, and a lot of these young comics are very funny, man. The Atlanta comics, because I think comedy now is a culture we are more familiar with it, and I think you could get up to speed faster because there's more information, you know. And some of the young niggas, boy, they was killing me last night in the club.
Any names that we should maybe keep our eyes out
I
on?
wish I knew the kid's name. Oh man, I forgot his name, but yeah, some Atlanta guy comics out there. If you was wearing that green sweat hoodie last night, you were funny, bro. I don't even think he's from Atlanta. He must be Tennessee or something. But yeah, there's a lot of funny people, a lot of unfunny people, but a lot of real funny, naturally funny young comics coming out.
Man, with 3 decades, you mentioned Chris Rock in the '90s. What about the 2000s? Who was somebody that you yeah, like, I had my eye on you. Who was your guy in 2000s?
I think Dave Chappelle in 2000s. He really his specials. I like how he works. I like and it's not as it's more centered in his emotional truth and his what he's saying.
What about
Just
2010s?
style wise. And Gerard Carmichael, I liked his last special just because of the way he did it. It was more like it was so intimate and so it wasn't like jokey. It was just like a confessional damn near, I would love to be that comfortable on stage to where I could just, and it's not with a ba-bum, bum, that's the layer I'm trying to peel away in my comedy. Even still, like instead of being like I got jokes written, it's like almost a freestyle style, but you know what the fuck I can't explain it. It's more of a real style, freestyle, but less jokey joke. Like
Scripted is just not sound like it's not rehearsed. Because if I'm watching somebody from like, the early '90s, sometimes you can tell like they rehearsed that joke, they giving a performance. Now I watch somebody, it's like I'm talking with my homies, but he's hilarious.
Yeah,
and his jokes are good, but it seems like the styles are just a little bit different.
Yeah, that is and I would say more so today, even because people are so more familiar with comedy that they know what it is supposed to be, and real is what it is. Like they could, I could even feel it when I'm phoning it in, or like, I be feeling, man, I'm not real. Sometimes I'll stop myself and just have a real moment because you don't want to be scripted.
Yeah.
Even though it is, but it's not. My jokes are what I want to rely on when I ain't got anything I really want to say in the moment. Do you get what I mean?
That makes sense. Like, be ready, but be real.
Be real. Yeah.
So Gerard Carmichael will be your 2020, or
I don't know if he's in my, but I just because style wise how he works, but I don't think he's my favorite comic out there right now. Corey Holcomb is still a beast right now. Corey's
shout out to Corey Holcomb.
Yeah, Corey, Chappelle, and even D.L. Hughley is even still progressing his like. I'm like,
surprised they let him get away with something.
Yeah, some of the shit he's saying, like DL and my man from Houston, Texas too. I like his style. I didn't get it at first when I heard him years ago, but now what's my man name? He got like a real laid back. He tells stories, but it's all where it's gonna be worth it. Oh shit. I can't believe I forgot his name. Yeah. Oh, my man. But yeah, he's fun. He just put out his own specials on YouTube. Ali Sadiq. Yeah, Ali. Yeah, and he's got his own style. And he takes his time, but it's gonna be worth it when he get to his punchline. Yeah. I like his style. Yeah.
Man, well, we're interested in definitely seeing this show. You gonna be in Uptown Comedy today and tomorrow, or just
no, just tonight. Just tonight. Yeah, I've 2 tonight, and then I'm in Jersey tomorrow, and I'm doing the Brigada on this week in Atlantic City. And yeah, I'm just happy to be in Atlanta because I don't get to perform as much for all black crowds. Like, you know, I go to Chicago, I did Chicago, Detroit, and, you know, but Atlanta, I haven't been here in a while, man. So
What's your favorite, who are some of your favorite cities? Not your favorite, but some of them.
some of my favorite cities, shit. I actually like LA just because, you know, performing there is good. The Midwest, I love. Chicago, I do like Chicago a lot. And I like Atlanta too, man, because Atlanta inspires me, man. I look around and see all these black people, like even in this studio now, I'm like, oh, man, we doing stuff. You know what I mean? You see black people on their business, on their game, and just, you know, I got friends that own cleaning businesses and here that own these businesses, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Want to give them a shout out?
Oh yeah, my man Ant. He owns Anthony. He owns Anthony Cicero. Go to his. I don't even know the name of his company, but he's cleaning. I should know that.
Well, how can the people find you? You know, website, social.
Yeah, Kyle Grooms, KYLEGROOMS, on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Venmo, Zeal, Cash App, Kyle Grooms. Yeah.
Man, we appreciate you for coming through.
Thanks for having me, man.
You got to come back. We had to pull up on you, one of those, either or, all the above.
You in Miami?
One time, twice.
Oh, where? Okay.
Twice. I need to go back.
Do some Miami. Do some man on the street shit. How you feel broke, man?
I feel broke. Everybody got Lambos and everybody trying to hit live and and what's that little warehouse spot? I be KOD's.
Oh yeah,
you know.
Well, KOD's not there no more, but some other shit replaced it.
Yeah.
I think it's G5 is the club now or something. But yeah, I understand because they tax the shit out of you when you come to Miami.
I didn't tell my mama this. Mama, don't watch this, but I tried to buy some weed down there in Miami. And I was like, man, I can get some better stuff at home for a better price.
Oh, yeah, you got the tourist price. That's,
He tried to hit me with the tourist, but I'm like, brother, look at me, man.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a tourist, but I ain't
no tourist.
Yeah. No, man. But no, we glad you came by. Wish you well. Y'all go check out Brand Humor. Also go check out Why'd I Pull the Trigger. And tell them where they can find you just one more time.
On YouTube. Go to my YouTube channel or Instagram. YouTube or Instagram. Those are Kyle Grooms. KYLEGROOMS. Like grooms, bride and groom, grooms your hair. Yeah.
Good deal. Muziq heads, thanks for watching. We got some more coming up for y'all. Kyle Grooms, thanks so much for coming by.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
We can't wait to see some more from you, man.
Thank you, bro.
Muziq heads, we'll be back. Y'all take care.
Yeah.